Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Apple Box Chronicles. My name is Peyton Buto.
And I'm Adryon Thomas.
And today on the ABCs, we are taking you from A to Z on Spider-Man Brand New Day, the new Spider-Man MCU movie that's doing maybe even surprisingly well.
Oh, yeah.
Given the standards of what people would expect.
I mean, they were kind of predicting that it could have been better than Endgame. I don't think it's going to, but it's still enough that we're seeing the highest, I think this is the highest, domestic box office weekend of, all time.
Maybe that's true. I think it's true. The second highest worldwide behind Endgame.
That's why I said domestic.
That's why I said maybe that's true. I just didn't know if that was actually true or not.
Well, that's what I saw. That is the case.
That's crazy. Domestically higher than Endgame. I wouldn't have expected.
Well, not the movie.
The opening weekend.
Domestic, as in where the overall box office, Odyssey, this movie, everything.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, of course, yes.
Yeah.
No, I was confused.
Yeah, no, movies are doing fantastic right now. The Spider-Man movie might not be doing as well as Endgame, but then again, Endgame is one of the highest grossing movies of all time. Not the, but one of the. I think it's maybe number 3?
I believe it's, number 3. I think what happened is it beat Avatar, and then I think they re-released Avatar, and then that made it beat Endgame back, and then I think maybe one of the other Avatars did just about as well and got close. I don't know.
I can't remember, but in terms of the first week opening, this is doing very well. I mean, it's not only is it a Marvel movie, but it's a Spider-Man Marvel movie, so obviously it's going to do very well, especially with the case that the last movie ended on somewhat of a cliffhanger, at least within the relationship that Spider-Man has with MJ and his friends, and I guess the rest of the world, but people want to see what's up with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
It's a new director. It's a new kind of look for the movies. And it's right before Doomsday. So people want to see, what are we looking at before we get to the big Avengers movie.
I feel like more people care about this than Avengers Doomsday. I feel like...
Absolutely.
Yeah, I feel like Spider-Man is the character where it's Marvel might be kind of washed to some people right now, but they're going to turn out for Spider-Man.
Yeah, they're always going to... Spider-Man's always going to bring in numbers. I feel like the only case in which people haven't loved Spider-Man movies were the Amazing Spider-Man movies. But other than those two movies, I feel like Spider-Man movies have always been very popular and beloved, overall.
Yeah, it's crazy. This is already almost at $1 billion, and it's just came out on Friday. As of this recording, at least, it's already, I think, well over 900 million from the opening weekend worldwide. It's just that's crazy. I wouldn't have assumed that at all.
Yeah, it's doing crazy numbers.
Yeah.
And it's also pretty good. It's a pretty good movie. that tends to do well for high-grossing films. They kind of have to be pretty good.
Yeah, I think it's a movie people will want to return to, people want to talk about, which is cool because we're going to talk about it, and there's a lot of stuff I have to say because it's Spider-Man. It's one of my favorite fictional characters in the entire world, and this is very special for me. I love Spider-Man whenever it's a Spider-Man movie. I feel like even if it's not the greatest superhero movie, if it's a Spider-Man movie, I do have a little bit of bias. I do have just a little bit of love for Spider-Man beyond other superheroes. I think a lot of people do.
Yeah, I think Spider-Man's probably the most popular Marvel superhero superhero that they got.
Yeah. God, I love Spider-Man.
No, it's I'm pretty sure before the MCU, Spider-Man was such a huge thing. Everybody loves Spider-Man. It's hard to find anybody who's nah, I don't like him. not my well. He might not be everybody's favorite, but like it's gonna be hard to find anybody who's like, yeah, I don't just like Spider-Man at all.
Yeah, I just don't fuck with the Spider-Man
Yeah.
movies. I feel like at least everyone at least has a Spider-Man that they like, whether it be the Spider-Verse, whether it be the Tobey movies, the Andrew movies, whatever your flavor of Spider-Man is. I like all of them to varying
truly,
degrees.
the only person that doesn't like Spider-Man is J. Jonah Jameson. Like he's
true.
the only hater. He's like, I hate that guy.
And even he kind of loves him once he's gone.
Yeah, because he gives him like revenue for his newspaper.
Yeah, J. Jonah Jameson is basically just a grifter, I think.
Oh yeah,
he
for sure.
He just kind of like hates because he wants viewership.
Well, that's why I thought it was great that they kind of transmorphed him into like this Alex Jones type individual in
No Way Home.
No Way Home.
Yeah, he's got like it's like at home setup.
Yeah.
Thing.
So, yeah, he basically is like that Alex Jones person. He's like very conspiratorial, and he's just hating on shit just to hate on shit because people are gonna watch his stuff and be like, yeah, well, I guess.
So we like to start these off usually by talking about our personal history with whatever filmmaker behind the project we're talking about, the series we're talking about, and whatever source material, if it's like an adaptation or something like that. For this one, there's kind of there are all those different avenues we could take. So there's the filmmaker Destin Daniel Cretton, who directed this movie, also directed Shang-Chi for Marvel, also directed films like Short Term 12 and Just Mercy, films I really like. I actually love Short Term 12. That was, I think, the first movie of his that I saw.
I think it was the movie that like launched his career, basically.
Yeah, it was kind of his big break.
Yeah.
He's a Hawaii-born filmmaker, I believe, which is pretty cool. So, I mean, everything I've seen of him, I've really always liked him. I really like how on social media he's always posting about his crew, and like he wants to highlight the artists that work with him on his films, like everyone behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So he seems like a really solid filmmaker that loves what he does and clearly cares about the final result of his projects. I feel like he likes to make pretty polished movies, and yeah, I really like him. I've always really liked him. I've always really trusted him, and this is no different.
Yeah, I don't really have much. I haven't really seen any of his other movies except for Shang-Chi. But I hear they're really good. I think maybe, what is it, The Glass Castle?
Oh yeah, I haven't seen that.
Yeah,
one.
I heard that wasn't as good, but Short Term 12 was like extremely highly regarded when it came out, and in Just Mercy, like I remember nobody really talked about that movie when it came out, but it still got like really good reviews.
It did come out in a kind of a crowded moment. It was like December of 2019, so it was like 1917 was out, and Parasite was expanding to some theaters, and you had Uncut Gems coming out at the same time. So like, it was kind of up against a lot of different things. I saw it at Sky Cinemas in Austin. I saw it as a double feature with 1917. I saw both of those movies in the same day.
But yeah,
good.
I don't really have much to say about him. He's fine in my eyes. I mean, I would have to see his other like non-Marvel movies, but yeah, I liked Shang-Chi for what it was.
I love that movie too. I think that's one of the better recent Marvel movies as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really all I got to say about the director. In terms of Spider-Man, like the franchise itself, like the character, I mean, Spider-Man was like one of those introductory movies for me. Like it came out like when I was super young, and it's always been in my life. It's like me and my brother would watch those Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies like all the time. And I mean, they've always held a special place in for me at least. Then we got the Amazing Spider-Man movies, which just kind of seemed like this unnecessary revamping of the whole character. And though there is charm to Andrew Garfield in that role, I just don't think they're that good. They're mid at best, and uh, I I don't know. The second one's just kind of weird. It's just kind of all over the place.
I like
It doesn't.
the second one better.
I know you do, but
It's more entertaining and visually more interesting, I think.
I mean, I guess I think I've seen it twice, and I still don't remember much about it. Like, it's fairly boring. Like, both of them are fairly boring.
Both I do kind of agree that both of them are just not very memorable. But if I had to pick one, I think that's the more enjoyable one.
I think Amazing Spider-Man 2 had all the legitimate criticisms and problems that people had for Spider-Man 3, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 3, except for Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 3, I think it works well. I think that movie's actually legitimately good, where Spider-Man 2 I'm not so big on.
Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Amazing Spider-Man 2. And then I think Tom Holland's Spider-Man movies, I think Tom Holland is the best Spider-Man actor of the three. I love Tobey Maguire. He's great, but I think Tom Holland really nails both being Spider-Man and Peter Parker and all the charisma and silliness and weirdness and nerdiness that comes with that.
I think I kind of agree, and at this point, and I think it's because I feel like he can do anything he needs to do as Spider-Man. Yeah. It just depends on what the project demands. And any issue you have with any of his films usually comes down to the MCU tie-ins. It usually comes down to, like, the other characters or, like, how they're writing his character, not how he's performing it. He's always delivering what the story actually needs.
Yeah.
And trying his best to make it work.
Yeah.
But, like, he could do... Like, if you gave him the exact... framework of, like, Spider-Man 2, a movie that everybody loves for, like, how they constructed it, narratively, I feel like he could also pull something like that off.
Yeah. Well, I think, and we'll get more into this in the spoiler talk, but the Brand New Day is very much under the wing of Raimi's Spider-Man movies, and it's kind of utilizing every single good or interesting aspect to every Spider-Man movie that has come before it, which I think he, for Tom Holland, he pulls off all those different angles very well. That's my take on the Spider-Man franchise. I won't really talk too much about the animated stuff, the Into the Spider-Man and Spider-Verse stuff, because I feel like that's kind of separated from these.
Those are great films.
Yeah,
they're separated. So for me, Spider-Man, huge for me. Since I was a kid, the original Raimi Spider-Man movies, very influential. Like, actually, I just don't think I would have come around to be as much of a film fan as I've become without those movies. I would rewatch them constantly, especially Spider-Man 3. That's actually my favorite one because it's the one that I always went back to the most. And, just as I've grown up and gotten more honest with myself, for a while I was like, oh, I see why Spider-Man 2 is the best one. And then I was like, but I like Spider-Man 3 the best. I just think it has all the quirks and the fun stuff that, I don't know, it just has such a unique cultural, I guess, identity at this point as a movie, and it has the best hater of all time, Eddie Brock. But I remember it was like my 12th birthday or something. My mom was like, you put on whatever movie, and I had seen it like 40 times, but I was like, I'm gonna make everyone watch Spider-Man 3. And it was just always the one. I always leaned on Spider-Man 3. It's the original movie that I rewatched ridiculous amount of times. I woke up to that DVD menu playing over and over so many times. And the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies, they always come out at the right time. It's so weird. Like, Spider-Man Homecoming comes out, I'm right into high school with Peter Parker.
I see.
Spider-Man Far From Home comes out. I was currently, my current girlfriend, I was like really like into her and I wanted to impress her, and then like that's the movie where Peter's trying to impress
I don't know if
MJ.
it came out at the right time. It just he's the same age that you are.
That's
in
what I'm
those
saying
movies.
though. But like it progresses pretty well. Like just hear me out. So we were in the employee screening for Far From Home in 2019, you know, and she's there, and our friend Caleb is there, you know who that is, and literally those scenes where Peter's like, this is how I'm gonna impress MJ, he like embarrassed me in the screening. He was like, that's Peyton doing that.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck, bro? And then No Way Home came out, and that was right when I moved out of my mom's for the first time, and I was 18, and I was like, I'm not ready for this. I don't know what I'm doing. Like, this is such a sudden change that I've had to make. Like, it wasn't something I really wanted to do. It was something I had to do. And then at the end of that movie, he's, like, alone, and he's moving out. And he's like, I just have to live on my own now, and I didn't expect to have to do this. I just wanted to go to college with my friends, you know?
Yeah.
So, boom. And I immediately, I was like, okay, I'm not alone. Spider-Man's also on his own. You know, feeling those emotions. And then, you know, this one comes out, and it's about a Spider-Man that's putting everything into his work and kind of losing himself a bit because and missing his girl while she's at school.
Yeah.
And I mean, she forgot who he was, but my girlfriend was gone for 6 months at grad school.
Yeah.
And so that's been my existence a little bit as well. So always Tom is right there. So
Yeah.
I grew up with Toby, but I grew with Tom, I would say, in terms of Spider-Man. So yeah, Spider-Man's just I feel a connection, and I love that character. It always feels like he comes around and always tells me what I need to be. You know, it makes me feel better about whatever it is happening.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean I think that's why Spider-Man is so popular amongst a lot of people, is that he's one of the more relatable superhero characters out there. But I will say with this movie, they're kind of losing me on him just a little bit.
Damn.
We can get into that.
Dude, this is about to piss me off. This whole thing's about to piss me off.
I mean, I do like the movie quite a bit, especially on like first viewings, but there's definitely flaws in this movie. Like, there's a lot of things that I was looking back and thinking back on, and I was like, I don't know if they should have. There's things in this movie that I was like, I don't know if they did that right, or if they could have done this better.
There's flaws in this movie, for sure.
Yeah, people are saying this is like one of the best Spider-Man movies of all time. I don't agree. A lot of people are saying it's better than all the previous Tom Holland movies. I also disagree with that.
Oh, I actually do agree with that. But maybe we'll get into our little
disagree.
ranking at the end.
Yeah, no, I disagree with that pretty solidly. But I don't.
Visually, it's easily the best one.
Oh yeah, sure, visually, sure, but I mean, it only goes so far with movies when it comes to.
I'm
visual.
just saying that's the common ground we can find, at least with that, is that it just like feels so much fresher than those movies in terms of just the style and the visuals. Like, looking back on those other movies, I'm like, dude, it does not really look all that good sometimes. And it's interesting because we used to, the MCU used to be so popular. We used to not be worried about that kind of stuff, or at least like the general populace wasn't. And now it feels like Marvel has to deliver like some kind of sauce in their movie for people to even accept it. And I think that's cool.
Yeah.
Because I think we actually are getting to a point where like the standards are getting higher. Like, people are watching movies like The Odyssey.
Yeah.
And they're watching movies like, I don't know, Obsession. Like, just movies that get really popular because they're good. Like, and they're just like, wait, what? We're not going to settle for anything anymore.
Yeah, that's because Marvel had kind of overindulged themselves in like all their movies, and now that they've kind of gotten a bit of backlash with how much they're producing and putting out, and people aren't liking as much, they've kind of scaled back a bit. We're not getting like 4 Marvel movies a year now anymore. We're getting less, which is a good thing, but it also gives way for people to watch other movies other than just Marvel movies. And so they're watching all these other bigger, better movies. Sinners comes around, they're like, oh, that looks great, that's amazing.
It's even from a Marvel director.
And Odyssey comes out, and they're like, it's on IMAX. Like, come on, like we have these great movie blockbusters coming out that aren't Marvel superhero movies anymore, and people are like, oh yeah, movies can be like actually legitimately great and look good and have good stories and actors and all this stuff. And so you look back on Marvel and you're like, okay, do that.
I think one of the movies that maybe helped people kind of break away from Marvel but still yearn for the spectacle, but like they wanted a more I guess a higher caliber of it, like something that's not just a bigger screen, like it's genuinely an event. Like Dune helped with that, I think. When Dune came out, it's like, oh, like we can get excited for this thing that's not a Marvel movie. It's just an epic that we don't have to wait for. Marvel doesn't have to just dominate the theatrical experience.
No, I mean, it never had to. And like we've said in the past, like people have predicted in the past, like Spielberg has predicted in the past, superhero movies are not going to last forever in terms of its popularity. It's like the way of the Western. It's gonna have its moment, but then people are gonna kind of see it every once in a while. But it's not gonna be peak like Avengers, Infinity War, or Endgame. It's not gonna have those moments anymore. Yeah. And I think that's gonna be the problem with the like Doomsday and maybe even Secret War, probably even Secret Wars, is that they're gonna try to have this epicness to them that people just don't really care for anymore.
The gaslighting with Doomsday is so weird because they're saying like, oh, they didn't set up Doctor Doom, and then Feige's like, well, we didn't really set up Thanos either. Like, it's not about that, bro. You were gonna do Kang. Stop acting like you were not gonna do Kang first.
Yeah,
you obviously changed. You had to change your shit because of Jonathan Majors.
Yeah,
just be honest. Just be like, yeah, we had to pull Doom out really fast and get RDJ to play Doom.
I didn't know that Kevin Feige was saying that stuff, but
it just seems like, there's this general idea that where they're like, oh, but they don't have to set up Doom because like this is the movie to do that. Like, you watch Infinity War and that's like the Thanos movie. It's like, yeah, but Thanos was sprinkled throughout like a decade of shit before that almost. And it's like,
yeah, this
is not the same. You were gonna do Kang, like,
yeah.
Stop acting like you weren't gonna do Kang. You had a plan to do Kang Dynasty, directed by Destin Daniel Cretton originally.
And then I think the biggest the biggest indicator that they're kind of losing it is the bringing back the Russo brothers for Doomsday, because they know that those guys have brought them kind of the most success for their movies, but they gotta let go. They gotta let go with those guys.
Those guys, I don't really like them.
No, yeah, they're not very. They're like, in a way, they're kind of like anti-filmmakers. They're in terms of creativity and like understanding the form and the medium. They're really good at like bringing people together and kind of stitching together, a fine movie. But I think creatively, they're kind of putting together what makes sense for Kevin Feige's world.
I think they're just good at like doing what they're told to do in a way.
Yeah.
Whereas, like when they make a movie outside of Marvel, it kind of shows that they're not really doing anything super interesting.
Yeah, no, not a single movie that they put outside of Marvel has been good. Like,
I don't think I've seen any of them, so I can't speak on it. But
no, yeah, they're really bad. Like, especially like Electric State, that's really bad.
Oh yeah,
that's incredibly bad. And The Gray Man, just not good at all. That's also really bad, which is crazy because like even Ryan Gosling couldn't save that movie, and he like for the most part, he's usually able to do that for movies, but not that movie.
Damn.
Cherry, Tom Holland can save that movie. Yeah, so
I always forget about Cherry, but damn.
Yeah, because their movies suck and they're forgettable. Unless they're like an Avengers movie. And that's why they brought him back, because they're like, they've done great stuff with the Avengers before, so let's do it again.
Yeah.
But back to Spider-Man. I think we should just go into spoilers, because if you haven't seen the movie, you're probably going to.
Or you're spoiled already.
Yeah.
For some of the bigger reveals.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. I've got my stuff here. Let's talk about it.
What do we want to talk about first? Okay, let's just talk about Sadie Sink and who she is, because that's kind of been the big mystery with the movie before coming out. Which is funny because it's not really that big of a mystery. Like, people have pretty much predicted that she was Jean Grey from a while ago, because redhead, you know.
Well, people thought she was gonna play like some Spider-Man character, like Gwen Stacy or something.
Yeah, and there was a lot of rumors going around who she was gonna play, but I remember hearing people being like, she could be Jean Grey because of the introduction of the X-Men in Doomsday. And then it was kind of confirmed like the day, like at the premiere, because I remember seeing a video of like Steve Lacy just talking about Jean Grey being in it, and then people were like, "What?"
He fumbled that so hard.
Which I thought it was really funny. Does it change how I feel about going into the movie just knowing that? Not really. Like, I think the thing with the movie that I don't really necessarily have a problem. It's just that the movie doesn't feel like it's surprising at all. There's nothing about the movie that was surprising. There's nothing that I was like, oh, that's cool. I didn't think that they could do that. Or I've never seen a Spider-Man movie kind of like deal with this thing before. Or I like the way that he interacts with it. Like, nothing about the movie was really like, oh, this is new. Like, I had those moments with the previous Tom Holland movies, but not with this one. This one, it was just like, yeah, he's Spider-Man doing Spider-Man things, and they're introducing characters from other Marvel stuff because they kind of have to. It almost feels like a legal binding thing.
It is. Like, no, it actually is.
Which is like, I could feel that watching the movie, and it's just kind of a bummer.
See, no, I disagree. I can feel that in some of the other Spider-Man movies, but not in this one. Like, I don't care for the Iron Man inclusion in Homecoming or the Nick Fury stuff in Far From Home. I think the Doctor Strange stuff is necessary in No Way Home for the story they're telling there. They made that work, but no, the thing is they actually do have to include, like, through the Sony Marvel agreement, they have to include Marvel MCU characters in the Spider-Man movies to be allowed to use Spider-Man. That's like how it works.
Yeah, I know.
And in this, but not everyone else knows. In this, it's the Hulk and the Punisher, and I guess Yelena shows up in there as well. But I actually think in this one it works better than pretty much all the other ones.
Disagree completely.
Okay, well, let's talk about it, because every single character in this movie in some way is completely in service to, it's like, this is the path Peter could go down. This is like how Peter's confusing. So this is a Peter Parker that's been making his coming up in the MCU has always been like, how do I live up to what people want me to be, right? Like in Far From Home, they're like, who's the next Tony Stark going to be? And he's like dealing with that. There's in Homecoming, of course, you know, you have Tony Stark kind of mentoring him. And he always kind of has to learn to, like, stay in his own, I guess, you know, Yelena says, like, small potatoes stuff.
Yeah.
So they kind of use the other Marvel characters as, like, this thing where it's, like, Peter's pulled into, like, bigger things than he should be involved in, especially as, like, a high school kid in the first few movies. in this movie, I think he's dealing with these personal problems. Nobody remembers him. Nobody knows who he is anymore. So, and what I really like about it is that he kind of, in a way, wishes the Doctor Strange spell worked on him. Like, he's like, he doesn't want to remember Peter Parker. He doesn't. It's the opposite of Spider-Man 2, where he stops being Spider-Man in that movie.
Yeah.
He's stopping being Peter Parker, and that's literally the comics they're based on is Spider-Man no more and Peter Parker no more. So it's a very intentional inversion of that story. Yeah. But in this movie, he's literally, Peter Parker doesn't exist. He uses aliases with everybody, even though he doesn't have to. They don't know who that is. Peter Parker means nothing to them, but he chooses to call himself Ned or call himself Maynard or whatever because he doesn't even want Peter Parker to exist. He's so afraid of being Peter Parker because he thinks being Peter Parker is the problem and gets people killed. So every character in this movie is kind of like in some way challenging the way he views himself. Like when he goes to Yelena, she's like, you can take off the mask. Like, we're superheroes. Like, you don't have to be alone in all of this. And that's a bit. I didn't think that was good at first. So when I got to that scene, I was like, oh no, they're just shoving this in here and it's too jokey. Like with the whole bath thing is like too weird. But then I kind of saw what they were doing with the whole, like, oh, he doesn't want to take off the mask, and it's kind of funny, and it actually has substance. The Punisher is isolated, not by choice, but by necessity, and he's like, you don't have to do that. Like, you have people, your loved ones are still alive, and you still have the chance to connect with people. You know, you're not, like, why are you doing that? You can't even take off your mask to have a cup of coffee. And then with Bruce Banner, it's like Bruce Banner has this literal monster like living inside of him. And to Peter Parker, he's like, how do I get rid of my monster? Even though he doesn't know what it is yet. So it's this idea that he's projecting his own thing onto other characters. And because that's his instinct after everything he's been through in the Marvel universe is like, oh, like, how do I find someone to fix this for me? Or how do I find someone to like, he doesn't realize that his problems are unique. I think he tries to kind of act like he needs to be following the same path as everybody else when everybody's problems are unique. And even Jean Grey is the character with all the greatest power but no responsibility over it whatsoever because she never had any sort of mentor, any sort of guide or anything. So even she is very different from Peter, but that's the difference that actually is what saves her in the end, is that he's able to let her in and share that with her. And so I think all these characters just have something to offer each other, but it isn't until they really embrace their differences that they're able to do that. I think it works.
I think it does work in like the theme of Spider-Man not really wanting to be Peter Parker after the whole No Way Home stuff, but it still feels forced with all those characters. Like, I feel like with so Iron Man with the Homecoming, it was kind of like a father figure. You kind of need him in that because he has the Spider-Man suit and all that. And he has to learn to become, Spider-Man without the suit, without like an Iron Man suit. Basically, he has to learn to grow up. And with no Far From Home, I honestly don't really remember much about that movie. That's always been kind of like the one that I don't really care about too much. But with No Way Home, it's the inclusion of the other Spider-Mans and like kind of like this big kind of like the ultimate Spider-Man movie kind of thing going on. I feel like that was necessary for kind of like this climax of that trilogy. With this new movie, I feel like they're trying to go back to the basics of Spider-Man, but they don't know where to go, and I just feel like they don't really know where to go. So they're kind of utilizing aspects of previous movies to kind of make this movie. It kind of feels like a a Frankenstein movie, Frankenstein Spider-Man movie of a movie, because you have this stuff where it's like he's so emotionally off balance that he's having basically the same thing from Spider-Man 2, where his powers, it's like the inverse of Spider-Man 2, like you said.
His
like
powers are working too good instead of not working.
Like he actually gets like
organic webbing.
Webbing from himself rather than from a mechanical device. He basically has his rage can get out of control, kind of like in Spider-Man 3 with the Venom. He's kind of going through like getting these new powers-ish, kind of like the very first Spider-Man movies. It's kind of like this hodgepodge of all those Raimi movies, and it also has kind of that the kind of spunkiness of the Amazing Spider-Man movies as well. They're kind of using that I feel like they're using that spunkiness and the kind of feel of that, especially Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man 2, with all the characters coming in. The like Scorpion kind of feels like
the Rhino. Yeah.
In that sense, they're kind of picking apart all these other movies to make this movie kind of make sense in the terms of being a Spider-Man movie. I do like all the stuff about him, like kind of rejecting being Peter Parker and just solely being Spider-Man because, nobody even remembers him. But it's super annoying when I first saw this movie, and I was first hearing some of the people's like how they were praising the movie. They're like, "Oh yes, we get sad, poor Peter Parker again." Yes, it's like, yes, he's sad. He's not poor.
He's
though.
Not poor at all.
That's
one of my minor problems with the movie is like especially the product placement. And I feel like that sacrifices
I need to talk about
I
need to talk about the product placement because it was baffling. It was like literally a joke that one of my friends who I saw with at a screening was like, it's like he's getting delivered Little Caesars pizza in New York.
I know. I've heard people talk about this too.
What are you talking about?
And it's because Little Caesars has the fucking Spider-Man collab in real life.
Yeah, like the product placement in this movie is just out of this world.
But honestly, I'm probably going to order up, what is it, that Webberoni? I'm probably going to try that. I'm not going to lie.
There's just a lot of like these kind of forced things onto this movie that I feel like you don't got to. You're a Marvel movie. You don't got to do that stuff. I know that you have all these things to cross promote, but
no, it's genuinely egregious. The Takis in the grocery bag at the beginning, like
I thought the Barrow was kind of. I kind of like that because one, it's Tom Holland's product, but it's also non-alcoholic, and he's kind of trying to promote that kind of stuff in a way.
Yeah, Tom Holland is on a.
But I feel like that's kind of like that's all you needed. You didn't need all that other cross promotion stuff that's so in your face about it.
And especially when it sacrifices the Spider-Man being poor aspect.
Yeah.
Because of this movie, I'm like, what is he doing to make money?
Exactly.
What is he doing to make? Did he just get inheritance from Aunt May or Tony Stark or what? Like,
yeah.
How is he affording all these flowers and all this shit?
Yeah, I don't know.
I feel like that is such a glaring flaw in the movie that really holds it back from being. I mean, you gotta understand, this is Spider-Man. There's so much I love about this movie that I want to just be like, oh, 5 stars, fucking Spider-Man. It's so good. But that is one of the things where I'm like, no, they didn't do right by that.
Yeah, because this is why the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies are so great, because it does feel like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man is poor, and he's just going through it.
Well, yeah, but
while also being Spider-Man. Where Tom Holland, he's going through it surely on an emotional level, but it's like you're still doing very well as a, and he's another thing that kind of like I can't stand is how smart Spider-Man is. Like Spider-Man has always been a very intelligent person. Like obviously he's smart enough to make web shooters and shit like that, but he's messing with like DNA. Like he's doing stuff that if he wants to truly be a hero, he could be doing this stuff as like a scientist, as a medical he could cure cancer. That's how smart he is. The way that he's changing DNA to make his his spider senses and abilities go down, and
I mean, I don't know. He literally in the last movie cures like mutations and villains.
Exactly.
And
like
shit.
I hate how smart he's doing stuff in which if you applied this elsewhere, you're basically you're curing cancer, you're curing diseases, you're taking rid of you're doing in way eugenics kind of stuff, and you're doing it for yourself, and you're just I could see how they're probably using the whole him wanting to regulate his bio senses and all that stuff as a way to implement the X-Men as well, and using that to collar the X-Men.
He makes the mutant collar. He's like Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
He makes the mutant collar.
I don't know. It certainly seems like they're going to use that for later in the movies, but again, that's what it feels. It feels like they're just kind of putting this stuff in this movie just so they could utilize it. They're putting Jean Grey in this movie just so they could utilize her in the other movies.
So here's where I kind of push back a bit, because this is just a fundamental difference in how I look at films. Because when I look at shit like him being a super genius, I'm not really thinking about maybe the plot hole of that you're saying, where it's oh, he could be doing other stuff and curing cancer and stuff. I'm thinking, oh, okay, I see. So this is the message of the movie is you can analyze your DNA, you can pick it apart, and you can edit it in a computer, and you can make all this stuff.
Oh no, I totally understand the theme of
it's not gonna fix. You need connection. You need real people.
I mean, I also find when he goes to the Hulk, there's really no point in that scene, because the Hulk is not giving him any information he doesn't know, other than the obvious challenge of being well, if you do that, that could be dangerous. That's the only thing warning he gives to Spider-Man, which he doesn't take. He doesn't care about that. He just wants to be oh, so if you do this, then that works, right? And he's yeah.
I think there is a bit of a message in this movie about, well, first of all, there's a lot of shit about how the whole male loneliness thing is self-inflicted. People isolate themselves.
Yeah.
And they become monsters because of their self-isolation, and they kind of create that. And then, maybe they try so hard to tamper with their body, and they turn to
clavicular. That guy.
They turn to yeah. I don't know shit about that guy. But
yeah, no, he literally tampers with his body just to look max and shit like that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's necessarily what's going on here, but you could look at even the parallel of Ned being addicted to that. What is it, an energy drink? He's oh, don't sell me that stuff. But then he buys it, and then MJ lifts it off of him. Just he's gonna get a heart palpitation. He keeps drinking this.
Yeah, it's
kind of that thing where it's we just kind of I mean, I'm addicted to coffee. I literally have to have it every day, and it's just I think there's a little bit of something about the way people just get too obsessed with trying to perfect themselves so that they can keep isolating, keep putting themselves into an unhealthy amount of stress and work, and we overwork ourselves, and then we just drink a bunch of energy drinks and caffeine to keep ourselves going, instead of just admitting that we need rest.
Yeah.
And in this case, Spider-Man is suppressing Peter Parker so much, and then he was willing to edit his DNA to try to restabilize it so that he can keep doing what he's doing, when the truth is you've built up so much, you've suppressed so much of your natural identity that it's starting to come out of your wrists in the form of these organic webs. And you see at the end he has to let go and use it and trust that there is a good person in there, and that he can find the balance by working, not by running from it, but by working through it.
Yeah.
And so I think, in an abstract sense, the film really works. But when you try to get into the meticulous of like what he's actually doing, even though it serves the later MCU for sure, I think it works in this movie. I think they do a really good job of like making sure everything feels like it has a place in the story, at least in a way. Even if maybe it's not good enough for some people and they're like, no, you reverse engineered that, like, right? You had to put that in there, but then you kind of made it a part of the story.
I think that is like the thing with me, is that this movie feels reverse engineered for the later movies and for Secret Wars and all that stuff. It doesn't feel on the surface as genuine as it comes off when you first watch it. Like, the more you think about it, it's like, okay, I see why they were doing that and what they were going for, but it kind of, it just, it leaves too much room for stuff that could have been done differently. And man, I had this other idea that I just lost, but basically why the inverse works in Spider-Man 2 is him losing his powers, is because that gives real stakes and real, like, oh no, he's not Spider-Man anymore. Like, there's like true, like, stakes for the superhero in that way. In this way, he becomes like, he's almost upgraded in a sense.
No, but he's not.
I know. Emotionally, he's not there, but it also feels like a video game.
No,
because you're upgrading to, like, literally in the scene.
They reference the Insomniac games like directly all the time.
Yeah, and like he's literally like downgrading himself just so we could have that emotional moment where he upgrades himself back into like being like almost too powerful.
Well, no, because here's the thing: when he's, I guess, upgraded, you could say, he's not, though, because he fucking puts a chokehold on MJ for MJ. Like, he does something incredibly irrational that Peter Parker would not do.
That's what I'm like I just said, I know that is not the initial, that is the emotional deterrent for him, because he loses himself. But I'm just saying, physically, as an actual superhero, like, you're doing these things because you're cross promoting through other things. You're cross promoting through the video game. You're
no.
What do you mean? No.
Him having black eyes and doing arachnid shit is not a promotion for the video game.
Well,
I'm
no,
saying,
no. I
he
know
does
it's
a few
not
kicks that look like the video game.
No. I mean, not just that, but I mean, like, for the movie itself, it's they're just making him like super cool. They know that, but they have to like reduce. They have to make him like evil in a sense, not evil, but
know, man.
They're doing like Spider-Man 3, where he's basically like, he becomes like
really
like,
powerful,
really powerful,
because of
and
the symbiote, but he loses himself. Yeah, for sure.
We've seen that stuff already. That's what I'm saying. We got this like Frankenstein of a movie where we're getting all these aspects from other better Spider-Man movies, just trying to make this movie work.
But the emotional catharsis of this film is that none of that shit will work for this Peter because he is unique. There's literally, I think it is intentional. I think when you get him on the roof testing out organic webs, and he literally says, he's like, Peter 2 had organic webs, he was cool, you're cool, you can do this, right? Yeah. And he tries, that's literally from Spider-Man 1, go away.
Exactly, yes.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're going to say, exactly, but hear me out. So then you have the scene with MJ where she's getting mind controlled. We don't know that yet. She does the under the mask Tobey Maguire Spider-Man kiss, right? And then what happens? She falls off the building like Gwen Stacy in Amazing Spider-Man 2, right? And he has to catch her. All this stuff is to show it's like, oh, you think you can lean on other superheroes? You think you can lean on other Spider-Man tropes? You think these are not going to solve your problems? It's called Spider-Man Brand New Day for a reason. It's not. I think it is showing you this stuff to be like, it's not that simple. You're not symbiote Spider-Man, because what was the solution in Spider-Man 3? It wasn't embrace the symbiote. That was never going to be the solution in Spider-Man 3. In this movie, it's like you think you're looking at symbiote Spider-Man, evil Spider-Man. You're not. You think you're looking at a monstrous Hulk-like figure in Spider-Man. You're not. You think you're looking at the jaded, self-isolating Punisher Spider-Man. You're not. This is a guy that's going through something, and in each step of the way, he's thinking, "Oh, I'm just like this other guy. Oh, I just need to be like this other guy and solve the problem the way he's solving it." And it's kind of what everybody tends to do now, is that they I guess form these maybe these parallels with themselves that aren't there, and they start kind of copying other people instead of admitting the fact that we're all unique, and we all are pursuing a balance in our lives. But the answer, I think, is internal. The answer is not to copy somebody else, and I think that's what this Peter Parker is constantly having to learn, is like, he's not another Tony Stark or anything like that. And I think all that stuff, while it might not work for some people as a movie experience, you're watching it and you just think, God, this is so annoying. I've seen all this shit already. I do think the movie is aware of these things and is trying to show this Peter and the audience that it's just not that easy. And to me, that was a good message, because I think it's, one, timely, and also, like, I think for a franchise film, that's really interesting to kind of weaponize all of the stuff you recognize and turn it around and ultimately just always show that it's not the solution.
Okay. I mean, like I said, it's not really the themes of the movie. It's like I like all that stuff too. I just feel like they could have done it differently.
Just functionally as an experience, maybe it just doesn't work as well.
Yeah,
that's fine.
And I think, and it's not even the Spider-Man aspect of it all. It's really more of the Jean Grey stuff. I just don't like.
We gotta talk about that.
Yeah, she's. I mean, she's basically a villain in this movie, and they try so hard to make her seem less of that. They try to make her more sympathetic and for what she's going through, but she's basically a villain in this movie, and she does almost unforgivable things. And I don't think you always have to do that with, especially if you're gonna do this kind of hidden hero villain arc thing. You don't have to go so far. And Jean Grey, there's her powers aren't really as defined in this movie as I would think that they would want it to be. For instance, they say in the movie she can't she can't hop into other people's bodies who are more than 33 feet away from her, right? There are several times in this movie in which she's hopping into people's bodies, but how? So
I'm assuming you're talking about the scene where she's in the helicopter and then she's in MJ right after that.
Sure.
Because what it is it's explained by her sister in the flashback that you can just stop and then you go back to your original body.
Yes.
And then she can find a different route. So that's what I assume happened there. She hopped out of the helicopter driver, she became Jean again, and then she found a way to get back to MJ.
Yeah, I also just feel like that's not that just doesn't make sense either. Because if MJ's in her house, who's next to MJ to hop into?
Someone below her or above her in the apartment?
That's, how does she know where MJ? There's just so many. I know I'm nitpicking at a certain point. This is plot holy stuff, but it is there's so many ways she could have gone about her own mission. Why is she hijacking a tank with a bomb in it, gonna blow up this place, when you could go into someone's mind who works there? You're inside the building. You understand everybody's.
She doesn't know what she's looking for.
Well, yeah, because you could hop into some person's body. You get inside the place for, what is the
VMAX?
Not VMAX. What is the department called? Damage control.
Which I think is fitting for that to be the entity for this movie. I think that's a thematically that works.
But not only does she hop into people's bodies, but she could like basically see their life, see what they're thinking, what their like what they know. She could have done so many different ways. She could have gone so many different ways about it without being a villain in that sense.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Jean Grey is doing the logical, reasonable, or rational thing at all. And I think for this complaint, which I've already seen a lot of, people are like, oh yeah, she like, you know, gets people killed, and she like is, you know, extremely irrational, and she drives a tank into the thing, and she's shooting at the cops that are chasing her, which obviously is going to result in like casualties and all that stuff. Yeah, she's all power, no responsibility, because she never had an adult or anybody besides her sister. I think she kind of just resents people in terms, because that's all she knows. Is
that's very much evil. An X-Men like thing. It's like mutants versus humans, basically that Magneto mentality. I just think that. And of course, that has to go along with the movie that she's reckless. She's not thinking right. She's doing this because she just wants to get back at her sister. But it just feels like she's doing the dumbest possible things imaginable. Like there's sneaky, smarter ways of getting exactly what you want without hurting people and without like making yourself so known and getting into the peripheral of even Spider-Man or all these people. There are sneaky ways of utilizing her own power, which she's very powerful, and she doesn't do that because we just want to make her kind of this reckless teenager who has no power. She's just
enraged. I think you make a valid point. However, I think the problem that the movie runs into with what you're saying is that it wants her to be a surprise. So therefore, it makes it this like mustache twirling, menacing, little like cryptic, mysterious, mind hopping entity that like, oh my god, what is going on, right? And then you find out it's Jean Grey, and it's supposed to be like, holy shit. But you watch back the movie knowing it's Jean Grey, and you can be like, damn, she's like actually villainous at the beginning of it. And it's like, it would be okay if it was like some big awful evil villain, but then you turn it around and it's like, oh, it's somebody going through something horrible, and they hate people and everything like that. I think,
and I mean, there's ways to even write around it if they really wanted to make it kind of Jean Grey, but not, because there's like a version of her, there's like a clone version of her. What is it, like Madeline Pryor or something, where it's basically she has a clone. Same person, same basically powers and all that, but she is the villain version of her. Could have gone in that route if they really wanted to do that stuff. But it's such a focus on this movie being a part of a franchise that they write themselves into these moments where it's like you're losing the integrity of even the characters that you're portraying in certain ways. Another thing is the whole marketing of this movie, which is just very annoying, because if they truly wanted this movie to be like a surprising, eventful, I mean, it already is kind of an eventful thing, but a movie that really truly surprises people, first of all, you don't mention Sadie Sink even being in the movie. You don't show the Hulk in the trailers. You don't show Mark Ruffalo being in the trailers. You just show that it's a Spider-Man movie. That's all you have to do.
Maybe show the Punisher. I don't know.
Sure, he is kind of like a secondary character. So yeah, sure, show the Punisher. But that's again another thing when I say that there's nothing surprising about this movie is that I know pretty much what's certain moments in the movie that's going to happen. I know he's going to fight the Hulk. Like you guys are showing that.
To show that.
Like it would have been amazing if I went into this movie not knowing the Hulk was in it, because the Hulk is my favorite character, MCU character, well, Marvel character of all time.
Your favorite is Ang Lee's Hulk.
That's my favorite. Of the movies, I guess, pre-MCU. But
great film.
Yeah, they shoot themselves in the legs when it comes to like trying to hide the secret stuff and the marketing, and I feel like there could have been better experiences with this movie if they're not trying. This movie feels like it's trying so hard to do so many different things in so many different ways, where it's like, just simplify it just a little bit. Even the movie's length, it's just a bit too long than it has to be. It feels a bit too cluttered. It's like everything is, it all works out in the end, but like to get there, it feels too mangled up and like copy and pasted and put together in ways that feel like it could have been smoother. There could have been a better way to do it.
So there's a few things I want to say. Number one, about Jean Grey. One comparison that I make here, because I see people say, oh, it's so hard to sympathize with this character, right? Here's the thing. I don't think to have a sympathetic villain character, quote unquote, in a movie, that you have to be like, oh, all their actions were justified and I forgive them. I don't think that is the same thing as sympathizing with a villain character. I think you can be like, yeah, they did some really, really awful, horrible stuff that you can't ignore, but you also can recognize that there is humanity in them. They're not completely evil and without motivation for it. That's a comparison I would make here is Elijah from Unbreakable. He is a mass murderer in that film. He literally derails an entire train and kills a bunch of people. He started a hotel fire and killed a bunch of people. I'm sorry for the Unbreakable spoilers. But he kills a bunch of people, and by the end of that trilogy, even, he kind of redeems himself and becomes, in a way, a hero in his own right, because, you know, you see that there's a bigger bad. But anyway, I digress. The point is, like, I sympathize with that character in his search for belonging and feeling like he fits nowhere. That's actually less of a motivation, I would argue, than trying to find your actual sister who was taken from you by random people that you don't know. Also, there's so many characters in the MCU that have been responsible for so many deaths and collateral damage that we kind of hand wave away like all the time, like Tony Stark creating Ultron. I mean, shit, if the people who are mad about Jean Grey shooting into the streets of New York City at the beginning of this movie with a tank and being like, oh, there's casualties there. Okay, go watch Captain America Civil War. You would definitely sign the Sokovia Accords, because you're literally saying the exact thing that those guys are saying, is like, you guys are reckless and you do. I mean, it's different because she's doing it in the name of, we don't know yet.
Yeah.
But she is trying to stop a government entity that's doing something awful.
Okay, another thing, like the whole what's his name, Metzler, Metzger,
Tillman's character.
Yeah,
that I forget his first name. Is it Tramel Tillman?
I think so.
It's a really cool name with alliteration that I don't remember exactly, but he's a good actor. I really like him.
Yeah. Except the fact that they're obviously the bad guys. Like the moment you meet these guys, you're like, oh,
of course,
this is not good. They're the villain. So that's another thing. It's like there's nothing.
Also, his name is Bill in the movie. The first name of his character is
Bill. Okay. Well, Bill, like, that's what I mean. Like, there's nothing surprising about this. There was at no point was there like, oh, that's cool, they're the villain, or oh, that's it kind of plays with, I guess it doesn't, well, I think that's the thing, it doesn't play with anything. It
plays with nostalgic imagery and iconography, bro.
Sure. And in ways that is fine, but yeah, this movie just, it's very middling for me. There's good moments, but it's like it never really feels like a satisfying like Spider-Man movie.
I feel you, dog. I mean, I was incredibly satisfied, but I feel you on that. Like, what was it? I was gonna mention something a second ago. Them abducting Jean's sister. Given what mutants have always allegorically represented in society, did that not seem to you a little bit like Ice?
Yeah, I was kind of thinking of that too, which was really I think that's also the thing. This movie could have been a bit more political. If
I think
it
they
wanted
should have
to.
leaned into that
Yeah,
more.
but they didn't because of obvious.
I mean, they try. I think they try to hint at it, like when she's like, "Why do you help the people that just target anyone who's different, Spider-Man?" And it's like, if you really leaned into that, you could really show it's like, no, Spider-Man would not, in his right mind, like be helping ICE.
Yeah.
But you know, it's and so then you can have a film about challenging authority in that way. And you know, he's so tight knit with the NYPD in this movie, and they have such a good relationship that like you could really play with that and do something.
Yeah.
He has that character that he's always on the phone with as well, and you know, you develop that a little more. And I think there's a cute little arc there where he's like learning her kids' names by the end, and like they become more of they have more of an actual friendship by the end. So I like what the movie's doing as a personal journey for Peter. I do understand a lot of the stuff on the periphery can get clunky in pursuit of that. Like I said, I'm Spider-Man biased.
I know.
And for me, the scene that tied it together was in the climax with Aunt May. Literally, Aunt May is the hero of the movie by the end of it, and that's always, I think, what it comes down to is like, you know, you look at superheroes like Superman 2, it's like he was raised by good people. That's literally the difference. And you know, Spider-Man, he's the fact that, you know, she takes the position of Peter in that memory with Aunt May, dude, that, like, I lost it watching that the first time, because I was just thinking, I was like, this is exactly what Spider-Man is all about. Is like you watch Peter in his stories, and you see yourself in those struggles sometimes.
Yeah.
And to watch that visually happening, like literally on screen, was just, I think, that's like a very top tier Spider-Man movie moment for me now, because it is like, we all, I think, at a certain point do risk becoming like so powerful in our own way, not literally superpowers, but you know, we get success, we get money, we get some kind of confidence, right? Peter Parker is always getting beat down, and that's in a way a weird, like, it helps.
Yeah,
his integrity.
Spider-Man's always going to be the best whenever he's getting the shit kicked out of him.
Exactly.
That's always going to be the best Spider-Man for me. Is like him being kind of almost an underdog in his own story.
But what I love is that the movie really nails the idea that Peter Parker is a necessary component of Spider-Man, that it's not one or the other, that it has to be, you have to have Peter Parker under the mask, because if you don't, the Spider-Man itself is just a symbol of something that, you know, and Peter Parker makes it what it is.
Yeah.
And it's like, so
with anybody else, Spider-Man could have been a villain. He could have been using it for his own personal, like, his powers for his own personal gain or something. But the fact that Peter Parker is a good guy, and he's trying to help people because he's a good individual. He's raised by Aunt May, who was very good for him. Makes him Spider-Man. Makes him what makes Spider-Man great, and what makes him someone to look up to. And that scene is a great scene. I do like that scene a lot. I'm like, do they always have to put in with great responsibility? With great power comes great responsibility.
Oh, she doesn't really say that exactly.
She says it, like, she says responsibility, she says power. It's the same thing. No, it's just worded differently and put into a different context.
Not really, because she kind of, it's weird because chronologically it takes place earlier than when she actually says it in No Way Home. But like, she says something like,
it's not the same.
People who love you don't love you because you're special. They love you because you're you, and not forgetting that is your greatest responsibility. And I think that's slightly different enough to be its own message for this movie. It's like, you are not valuable because you are successful or powerful in any material way. You're valuable because of your actual character and
Yeah,
integrity.
I mean,
and I guess you could say that's the same thing, but
I wasn't going to say that, but
at any well, you just kind of did.
No,
a minute ago.
I'm saying that I just don't like that they have to kind of push this vocal lexicon of like her basically repeating similar words just so you could get that.
I see.
Oh, they have that same exact moment, except it's for a different reason. It's like, just make that moment itself. You don't have to like pull back to something we already know and we're used to. Just make that moment.
I mean, you have to evolve the core values of Spider-Man. You have to have an angle on it for a Spider-Man movie.
Sure, but it also just feels like spoon feeding.
I guess I get what you're saying, where it's like you're like, oh, like you're supposed to think back on the other thing, but no, I think it's
like I'm saying, it's
like
a great scene. No, it's a great scene. I like it a lot. I think it's great. I just think that, again, Marvel, they don't have balls when it comes to anything that they do in these movies. They think that everybody's so stupid that they have to like give you little crumbs and little things from this movie, things from that movie. We got to put it all together so that you're not stupid when you're watching the movie. But you don't have to do that. People are smart enough.
I guess I agree with you largely. I just don't think this is it.
Like I said, it's a great scene. I'm not like, it's not that big of a deal. I'm just like, this is just another thing. It's like, it's just another thing that they just can't like not get like want to get away from. It's like, evolve, become your own thing. You don't have to be all those Spider-Mans that you were before.
That's literally what this film is about.
I know, but it's kind of compromising itself through that.
Because it doesn't commit at the very end?
Yeah.
I guess you could say, but like, he's still fucking Spider-Man. You still have to have he still has to have it. Again, it's just his own version of the Spider-Man moral code.
Yeah, and that's fine. I like her inclusion. I like the scene and all that. I'm just saying that there's ways in which this movie operates that I feel like it still feels overproduced by the studio and by the fact that it's part of a franchise and it doesn't want to be its own thing.
Yeah. I mean, I get you. I think the scene really makes itself when Peter then steps in and is like, you have me. Like,
yeah.
You even though we lose people, we don't have to be alone, right? It's like that's another thing. It's like you feel like you lose someone that understands you. You lose connection with someone that understands you, and then you're suddenly like, oh, nobody understands me, so I'm just gonna be someone else, and I'm gonna try to fit in whatever way I can to whatever everybody else is doing, and then suddenly you just become this amalgamation of all of the, I guess, flaws in your vicinity.
Yeah.
And you know, it's like you just have to be willing to, I guess, move forward as yourself, even though it feels like being yourself might not have any value at the moment. You know, you got to find there's always going to be someone else out there that's going to need exactly you.
Yeah.
And our responsibility is to be ourselves. I think that's what this movie is about.
Yeah. No, yeah, I agree with all that. Like, I like the themes of the movie, for sure. Like, I like the movie, guys. Like, I know you like the movie. Just like, there's things about it that I feel like we need to get over in order for Marvel to move on. Yeah, no, it's important to criticize the film. Yeah. I actually think, like, what you're saying makes sense, and also I agreed with some of it. I'm not going to sit here and just blindly glaze, but I am going to tell you why I think it works for my experience. Yeah, and I mean, I understand why it works for you, and like you have made like a lot of great points about like how they're utilizing they're weaponizing all that, the previous like stuff that we already know from Spider-Man, to kind of like showcase that Peter Parker is important for him. Yeah, which is like, that's good. I think it also does a good job of being like, no, this Peter Parker is still important. Yeah, like, not you can't just,
he has to be his own Peter with all of his own experiences. It can't just be him trying to be somebody else. And it works. I think it works. Largely works more than it doesn't work.
Yeah.
But I do think there are some pretty big flaws in the movie. My biggest problems, I would say, if I were to put a bow on it, is like, I think they're too committed to the twist of Jean Grey to make it more digestible as an overall arc.
Yeah.
And I think the product placement is absolutely fucking ridiculous.
Also, the very end credit scene, not even a scene, like
the little blip at the end,
yeah,
with the spider tracker
ridiculous. I feel like that is like,
I didn't think it was ridiculous.
I think it's ridiculous because you have all these guys wait for the entire credits of the movie just to show.
The placement of it is ridiculous.
Well, yeah, that, and to show nothing. Yeah, what are you learning? Nothing.
I don't
you're
think
learning
you're learning nothing.
You're getting nothing from it. It's not giving you anything you basically don't already know, or is going to happen.
You were
in the
just
future.
talking about the movie spoon feeding. Listen, this post-credit scene, this is the first time in years I've seen people actually theorize over a post-credit scene to this extent. Like, I don't see... A lot of the time, a post-credit scene is like, here's a guy that that you know. Oh, my God. And in this one, it's like mysterious. It's like, what's going on?
No, it's... So, that's not... What I mean is not only just the placement of the scene, it's just an unnecessary... They just need to go away with it. They need to stop doing it because it's not... Sure, people could theorize all they want about it, but it's not giving you anything. It's just saying, oh, Spider-Man's going to be back. What? Yeah, we know he's going to be back. What do you... Again, you're spoon feeding us like just nothing at this point.
That's not nothing.
And it's like it's an afterthought. Like literally it's an afterthought. It's like after everything, after all the logos, after all that stuff, then they put it in there. There's nobody in there. It's just a graphic that they could just make up and do and put in there. It's like you're just doing that because you know you need a scene after the movie.
We don't know what it means yet, dog. It could be something. Okay.
It's an afterthought. It is for sure an afterthought. They didn't really think or care about like what they're gonna put in. Maybe they had a scene, but then they were like, "No, we can't use it" or something. But it's so unnecessary.
Look, I think that's a fine way to feel. I guess I just don't really care that much about it.
I don't care either, but it's like even. Like, it's annoying.
Okay,
it's annoying.
Do you think there's a small percentage, because I have this too, do you think there's a small
percentage? It's a huge percentage that the fact that I have to wait for everybody to get out of the goddamn theater after the credits are done just so they could be like, oh, that shit sucked. Like, at no point have I heard anybody be like, oh, that was really cool. But
it's
even
a disappointing post-credit scene when
but
it makes
even
you wait that long.
Yeah, but even... that a part of it, the fact that it literally affects me personally, but it's an afterthought. It's not necessary. They could have just done it after the first like credit moment, like after you see all of New York, and they just put it there, and it's like, oh, that's cool. Now we could leave the theater. Like,
but people would still wait because they don't know.
Like maybe half of them, sure, because
but it doesn't matter if there's someone in there. You still have to wait.
Yeah, it's still annoying that we're in the state where Marvel is just like, oh yeah, we have to put an after credit scene. There has to be something there. There doesn't.
I will say recently, maybe Marvel hasn't been as good about it, but DC's been a little better. Supergirl didn't have one.
Yeah,
I think Superman had one, but it was like, what? Didn't they just have a shot of Crypto and him like in the middle of the credits? I don't think there was anything after that. Maybe I'm wrong.
There was like a mid credit scene where he was like with
with the building. Yeah. I remember that.
Which that was actually a nice little kind of metaphorical like thing that they were doing.
Yeah, for the DC. Yeah, and also it was funny.
Yeah,
but that movie's just great in general. But
they need to stop. They're not going to stop it, but I would like for them to stop doing that shit because it's annoying. you're not really learning that much about what's gonna happen in the next Spider-Man movie or in Secret Wars or whatever. Just leave it be. it's just stuff like that that's like kind of annoying. Anyway, the good stuff. I like Sadie Sink in this movie. I think she's great. I think she's a great Jean. I think she's gonna be a great Jean. Yeah, I thought she was a good casting. I like that they did have the Punisher in this movie, because what I do like about the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies is that there's always like some kind of adult figure or father figure or some kind of figure or figures that are kind of helping him along the way. With like Homecoming, you have Iron Man. With Far From Home,
you have Mysterio, but he's like
which is bad. Kind of in a way great, because it's almost like it kind of shows you how some people can affect you in bad ways that you think are your mentors that aren't.
So you mentioned you don't really remember Far From Home that well.
Yeah.
I was watching a little bit of it last night. I didn't finish it. I was just kind of brushing up a bit, but I think I've seen it a few more times than you maybe. Overall,
probably.
But that movie is all about the spider sense and the instincts failing him, like and him kind of learning to trust his own instincts.
Yeah.
Which I think there's too much Tony Stark stuff in that movie. I think it's too much about who's the next Tony Stark gonna be.
That's probably correct.
I do kind of like that it's like a tech bro using. In the context of now, when I watch it, it's like this tech guy using fucking AI to make himself look like a superhero almost. Yeah. He's using like deep fake shit. It's all drones and stuff, but I think that's actually quite funny that it's just this guy. He's just a guy.
Yeah.
And he just has a big production, and that's all it is. But
that was cool, because it was kind of flipped it on its head. With No Way Home, you had the two other Spider-Man who are kind of like these kind of older brother figures for him.
Sort of. Doctor Strange sort of at the beginning of the movie gives him some advice and guidance as well.
But I feel more like he gets that assurance from the two other Spider-Man.
Of course.
Those are the big like mentor moments for him. Yeah. And with this movie, Punisher is kind of like a stepdad for him, where it's like he didn't like him at first, and they kind of hate each other. They kind of like they aren't rubbing well together, but they do. But then he finds out that his stepdad does actually care about him. Like he's a good guy, and he does feel for him, and they kind of have that moment. So I do like how it is kind of like another mentor or father figure, but in a different way than what we've seen before.
Yeah. I actually love that relationship so much, because I feel like I've been in those situations with fucking you, with other people, like where it's like the thing with the mask and the coffee, that type of shit, where it's like, that is the goofiest shit I've ever seen. You can't take off the mask to drink a cup of coffee, and he's like, hey man, I just can't take it off for anybody. There's just been times where like I'm just afraid of something ridiculous, and people are just like, why can't you just do this? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. It just doesn't feel right.
So yeah, I like the Punisher in it. I do feel like the Hulk is a little bit unnecessary. I understand why he's in there, obviously, for the whole like thing that kind of regulates him. But then you also think about like, well, what does that mean for the smart Hulk? Like, did they stop?
I know, that confused me too. And then like it seemed like when Jean was controlling him, he was the smart Hulk, and then he turned into the rageful Hulk after that, when it was just the Hulk taking over.
And then now he's like in a psych ward. It's like, why do you always do my man dirty? They always do the Hulk dirty for some reason. Like they cannot get him right. And yes, them fighting each other was cool for like the small moments that it had, but like there are parts where I'm like, I don't even know if this is just fully all that necessary.
I think they kind of maybe they might want to sideline the Hulk, because Mark Ruffalo is so politically active and so outspoken about certain injustices that I think probably he's like kind of like not wanting to be with Marvel and Disney anymore.
That's probably maybe a little bit on there, but I also I may be like completely off because it's been a while, but Hulk used to be owned by Universal, kind of like how Spider with like Columbia. So I don't know if they need him to only ever be a side character because they kind of have to take him from Universal's kind of catalog and be like, so we're going to use him as kind of like the side character. He can't be a main character. But I don't know. It could just be like legal things as to why they can't do him right or properly.
I need to watch the Incredible Hulk movie. I've never seen it.
It's fine. It's fine. The CGI is really bad.
At least you have the Ang Lee Hulk.
It's so good. Guys, you gotta watch that one. Like that one's actually like legitimately like that's a good movie. Like you could take it out of the whole like Marvel context. This is a really good movie about a man in trauma.
That's the Sam Raimi Spider-Man of Hulk movies.
Yeah, it really truly is. What else? I'm missing someone. Oh yeah, Florence Pugh. She was great in this. I actually really liked her involvement in this movie as a way to connect Spider-Man to the Avengers without actually having the Avengers in there.
Yeah, and Spider-Man I think he's just like clever enough to be like, let's seek out someone who has experience with mind control.
Yeah.
Like, let's see what's up. And also, she also pushes his story along in a good way, and yeah, it works.
Yeah, no, I actually really like any scene that she's in. Well, I just like Florence Pugh. Like she's great no matter what she does, what movie she's in. She's gonna be probably the best part of that thing. I can't remember off the top of my head other stuff that I wanted to talk about because I think I
guess Ned and MJ with the whole memory thing.
Oh yeah.
So like, there's a scene where Jean takes over MJ.
Yeah.
And the sexual assault is going on in like two different ways.
Yeah.
And what's crazy is like we all just watched Obsession, where there is this involuntary sexual assault going on behalf of the woman, and the woman's being sexually assaulted. She can't control her body, etc. And it's interesting because I know this ties into the plot, so it's probably not true, but it's almost like they added that scene where Peter tells her, like, hey, this happened. Yeah. It almost feels like it's like, we got to put this in here because people are like, just watch this other movie. But it's not the case because it plays into the whole plot of like, oh, you don't remember that? Wait, this guy lied to me. Yeah. But that was a good inclusion to have Peter be like open about that.
Yeah,
like,
because he's a good person.
Yeah, exactly. But it was really, I think it was really important that they nailed that, and it's like not everybody would have thought to include that. Yeah, and I think that was really cool of them to do. It's also one of the more fucked up things Jean Grey does, where it's like, holy shit.
It is. It's really messed up, but it. And I keep saying this, like I saw it coming, like
I saw it coming too immediately. I saw the Spider-Man kiss going on, and this is why I was attuned to the way it's weaponizing nostalgia, because I was like, you're playing with me right now. You're trying to make me emotional over the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man kiss right now. This is too easy. Yeah, this is too easy, and I'm glad that the movie was literally saying that, because if it was just MJ just remembers, like she's just like, no, there's something going on with Spider-Man, and then she's like, yes, the kiss that brought me back. Like, nah, that would not. That's too easy, and I'm glad they didn't go that route. But then you also have Ned with the handshake at the end.
That's the thing. It's like, okay, so if Ned remembers Spider-Man, if that's what they're saying, that he's slowly remembering who Spider-Man is and who Peter Parker is, that leads to me thinking that they are gonna reverse it. They're gonna be like, MJ's gonna remember Spider-Man, and they're gonna have a relationship again, which I could see it happening just so they could like give the fans what they want. But I feel like they gotta put their boot down. If they're gonna stick with something, they gotta stick with it.
But it's MJ and Peter Parker, and it's Zendaya and Tom Holland. You can't do that.
I know. I think they're gonna go with. I think they're gonna flip it. They're gonna be like, yeah, MJ's gonna be in love with Peter Parker again. She's gonna remember it all, and
So there's a lot of theories about why the handshake thing works at the end. Some people say it's muscle memory, which isn't this different kind of memory. I think that makes sense for him remembering the handshake.
Yeah.
But I do think it's a little like strange that he does it and then he's like Peter.
Exactly.
But
yeah.
Also, when I first saw the movie, at least, I was thinking maybe that's like a trick. Maybe it's just like he's saying Peter in terms of like he just introduced himself as Peter, and then like he's kind of like does this handshake and he's like,
Peter,
oh, Peter,
yeah,
you're kind of cool or whatever, or
but,
but it's clearly meant to indicate something,
yeah.
so it's really hard to tell what they're gonna do with that.
Also,
that leaves me intrigued, but like. Some people say it's because Ned's like a sorcerer because of the last movie. I think that's fucking stupid, personally, because Wong does not remember the full moon party at Kamertage in that movie, so that doesn't make sense. There's a bunch of different things, like it just triggers it because of muscle memory. I don't know how that all works.
I also don't know how they're going to handle MJ's boyfriend in the upcoming movies.
I don't really like that guy. I was getting bad vibes from him.
Well, obviously, because he's like the guy that you're supposed to root against. I find it interesting that they used a guy that, I don't know if he's Middle Eastern, if he's Arabic or Pakistani or Indian, but he's a brown individual, and I'm pretty sure they did that just so they could have a little bit of diversity in the movie, just to be like, hey, these people exist. But you're also putting him in a position where people are just going to hate on him. And, like...
Okay, when I said I got bad vibes from him, that's not what I meant.
I know, but there's definitely going to be people out there that are just going to be racist about it.
For sure.
And I'm like, why would you do that?
But that's
their fault. They always do that stuff.
That's their fault for being racist, though.
I know it's their fault. But
you're saying you're casting a character you're supposed to root against.
Yeah,
I see what you're saying.
I feel like they always do that in movies. It's like, oh, we want to include different cultural and different people of different races, but they put them in characters that you're not supposed to like, and you're like, come on, guys.
So kind of like Flash Thompson.
Yeah,
I see what you're saying.
It's like, why do you keep doing that? Make him actually like a hateable kind of dude that you want to root against.
Or like the guy in Far From Home that you want to root against for the same reason is Asian.
I don't even remember that.
That guy Brad?
I don't even remember. I don't remember that movie that well, to be honest, completely. But yes.
But yeah, that is interesting that they keep doing that. And now I'm like seeing the pattern. You just open that up for
me.
And
it's like,
stupid.
Now you're just letting people be racist now. Like, I know you don't want to do that. I know that's not your goal.
It's still on them for being racist.
But it's still like...
It is a weird thing to do.
Yeah.
On a consistent basis.
But the thing is, also, I don't actually dislike the guy. He actually seems like hella cool.
No. He's probably like a decent dude.
Yeah.
I don't think MJ would be with someone that's not a decent dude.
Exactly.
Given
He seems like...
I was just making a little joke because, like... I don't know, he was being kind of like, oh, that's my girl, like, just super, it's a private moment, so I understand. You're kind of, like, looking into it through the eyes of Peter.
Yeah,
so
you're, like, worrying.
That's why you kind of feel like, oh, god damn it, no, that's not supposed to
like,
happen.
It does sting you because, like, we all see ourselves as Spider-Man, and, like, MJ's, like, our girlfriend. It's like, oh, damn it. God, she's with another guy who's like hot and like nice, and God damn
exactly.
it.
That's why he's so infuriating.
But it does lead me to think, like, what are they gonna do with that? Is she gonna just break up with him? Is he gonna be a dick? And
another reason I say this is because she talks about how he judges her in some ways, like when they're talking on the opposite sides of the curtain later in the movie. I forget what she says.
Yeah.
She's always telling me I'm too something.
Yeah, she does say that that she's like, I don't remember the exact word, but she's like closed off or something.
Yeah, and also she's like, I wouldn't call him. I would call Ned.
Yeah.
And that's, to me, it seems like she doesn't trust him as much as she should.
Yeah.
If that's the case.
And I think that's also just a little thing just to like appease the fans and in Spider-Man. It's like, oh, he's not perfect. He's not that great. There might be a light at the end of the tunnel here, but I also I don't know. We'll just have to see what happens in the later films. Also, when he got shot in the movie, I have no idea like what's in Tom Holland's contract for how many how many Spider-Man movies he's gonna do or anything. But there was a moment where I was like, if they had any balls, they would kill him. If they had any balls, they would kill him off, and that would be like crazy. I think that would have been like a true statement from Marvel. But
oh my God,
obviously not.
Crazy.
Obviously not, which is also kind of disappointing. It's like, why would you do something so like, you're not going to kill off Spider-Man. Why would you I guess you need to have that moment just so you could have Jean Grey kind of like use her powers to redeem herself by like slightly keeping him alive.
She starts using her powers for good. Yeah. At that point, it's like to show the turning point of how she's using her abilities from here on out. And she never had that guidance before. So I guess I kind of makes sense in that way. Also, I love the scene where he's leaving the hospital, where they're all cheering for the Punisher wearing the mask. But like, it's beautiful because it's showing how, like, you know, in a way, Peter Parker has to relish the celebration of Spider-Man, and Spider-Man has to relish the celebration of Peter Parker, but they can never enjoy it as themselves in a weird way. Yeah. And I love that little kid that does the web shooter at him, because it's like, obviously that could just be a kid fucking around and seeing a random guy and just doing the thing. But at the same time, you know, that's all of us. Yeah. And that's also, you know, that kid could... It's just a little moment of intuition maybe from that kid, and then, you know, some fan's gonna theorize that kid is like
that's Miles Morales,
some fucking character. Yeah, they're trying to say that like every black person in New York City in a Spider-Man movie is Miles Morales, like the guy that Jean Grey controls that monologues, or like he saves I think a black kid at the beginning of the movie, and they're like, Miles Morales. I'm like, guys, not every black character is Miles Morales.
I hate it.
We already know Miles Morales is in the universe because he's Donald Glover plays the Prowler in the Homecoming, but you know, you can't use they are not allowed to use Miles Morales until the Spider-Verse is done. Yeah. So he'll come eventually.
Yeah, there has to be a trade-off at some point where we will see the end of Tom Holland and the rise of Miles Morales in a live-action Spider-Man movie. When I would assume by the third, because this is going to be a trilogy, I would assume by the third movie they'll probably do that, which is cool. I feel like you can't be Spider-Man forever. It's like the moment Spider-Man gets a bit too old, you kind of like you're losing it a
bit. I do think Tom Holland's acting as Spider-Man has always been pretty perfect. Like, I was watching Far From Home last night, and just the way that he captures the youth in that movie and in Homecoming, and he is so much more matured in this film. Yeah. And you can really see it. I'm thinking, you know, I think back to like how I was when I watched Far From Home for the first time. I was like 17 years old, and now I look at myself now and I resonate with the Peter Parker that I'm seeing in this movie as more of a young adult. And so it's really cool how he's been able to change up his performance in these subtle ways. And I mean, as he's grown as well as a person, but like it's pretty impressive. I mean, he's been playing Spider-Man for 10 years, and he's like, what, 30 now? So he's been playing Spider-Man since he was younger than me. Yeah. So that's crazy.
Also, I do like how they do make this, like, Spider-Man being a New Yorker thing again. Because with the previous trilogy, it wasn't really... They didn't really connect the Spider-Man and the New York stuff as much as, like, say, the Sam Raimi trilogy did. Or this one, they're like, back to the, like, he's a New Yorker, he's like, doing all the... He's saving, like, people in New York. It's, like, small potatoes, I guess. But you see, like, the people of New York love Spider-Man. Yep. Like, they always have and they always will. But that's also what makes it so kind of frustrating when you have these product placements of, like, Little Caesars, and it's like, that's that's not New York. Why don't they just have Spider-Man like swing by like one of those like $1 like pizza slices that they find?
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
on
if he was really broke, that's what he would do.
Yeah, like
He's not paying delivery fees.
yeah.
Come on now, he's Spider-Man. He doesn't have to pay delivery fees.
$1, like those even exist anymore. They would be like $10
Shit,
for a
when
slice.
you're Spider-Man, probably one of the few advantages he'd get financially as Spider-Man
It's just getting free stuff.
is
from
getting
people,
free
yeah.
stuff. If you go in as Spider-Man and you're like, I'm Spider-Man, they'll be like, yeah, you can have a slice of pizza. You're Spider-Man.
I mean,
the New Yorkers love Spider-Man. I know he's not going to take advantage of it.
Yeah.
But still, if you're really that down bad for some pizza, I think it's pretty harmless to
Yeah,
go get a slice.
that's another reason why. Like I think Homecoming's great because even in Homecoming,
he gets a free churro.
Well, he gets a free shirt. He has relationships with the people in that community, like the shop guy. That isn't home.
Yes, but
Homecoming,
you mean
right?
the deli shop?
Yes.
Yeah, but he has that relationship as Peter, really more
Yeah.
than Spider-Man.
But even.
But then he even saves him as Spider-Man.
Yeah, like just the fact that New York really feels like it's a place where people are like.
I mean, I feel that in this movie too. Like when he gets on the car and the guy's like, "I got you, Spider-Man," and speeds up.
Yeah.
Like there is the love for Spider-Man in New York. I think actually is felt in this movie pretty well, and I think it needs to be because when you watch Jean hop between all these guys, and they somehow become like foregrounded in the drama, and they start monologuing through her. It's like. It's like, oh, these extras are like getting to really act in these scenes.
Yeah.
So they're not extras, but they look like extras at first. So it's really nice to have this lived-in feel to New York where all these people feel like they could be important at any moment. And I liked that about this movie, is that anybody on the street could be a significant player in the scene.
Yeah, I thought the hopping and bodies stuff was pretty cool. I think she killed a guy
with the car.
Yeah, guy gets run over. Spider-Man doesn't do anything to help him or nothing. But
that is actually crazy. I thought that part was kind of insane.
Yeah,
again, he's just getting selfish in those moments. He's like, I gotta go to MJ.
I think
he stops. He just doesn't care about that shit.
Yeah, the physical of the person from one body to another, I think, is really cool because you do get to visually see it happen.
You see this like wave of people. It's really cool.
I do. A part of me though feels like it would be so much cooler and better if that wasn't the case. If she could just be in people's bodies and they were just like, whoop, oh, that's.
Sometimes it surprises you because she's already there.
Yeah. But yeah, the physical stuff is pretty cool. I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, the action's great," and it's like, yeah, it's good. It's again, there's nothing really surprising about it though. Like, it's
I don't
fine.
know, I thought it was pretty fucking sick.
I
love
good.
the hand fight scene at the end when they're all like using each other to like climb up each other.
Yeah,
like on some furious stuff. It's really cool.
I feel like there's not as much stakes in this movie as I would hope for. I mean, the biggest stakes is like whenever Jean is like messing with him mentally, but like the physical stakes I feel are never very present because I know the Hulk is not going to kill him. I know the Hulk's not going to do anything that bad to him.
What's at stake is really the integrity of Peter Parker.
Yeah,
that's what's at stake.
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, in a way, that's kind of what the movie spells out, is that the stakes are invisible. Like when he says like this is a danger we can't control, we can't even see it, you're the only one that can see it or sense it or do anything about it. I think that's a double meaning to like what he's going through personally. It's like you're the only one that knows who Peter Parker is, that remembers him, and you're going to lose that memory soon. Like it literally, the movie is about like the Peter Parker on the brink of complete obsolescence. Like he's just completely almost forgotten by everybody, including himself. Once he forgets who Peter Parker is, it's done.
Yeah.
So it's just him fighting that battle, really. Yeah. And I think to save someone else who's already forgotten who they are because of a loss of a loved one that kind of grounded them in a way, Another thing is, like, they were kind of being shitty together, just messing with people in the park, her and Gene and Sarah.
Yeah, yeah.
But again, they have no guidance of any kind. But
because they were abandoned by their mother.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I think it's cool to be like, to have him face off against a threat that can't be saved by Spider-Man, but rather only by Peter Parker, is perfect for that. Anyway, overall, yeah, I love the movie. It sounds like you liked it.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's a good movie. I think on a surface level, I do think it's a good movie. I just think the more you look kind of into it, the more you get a little bit political with what Marvel's doing with it. It just kind of sinks it down a bit. But it's still a fun movie. It's really funny too. I like all the comedy in it. I think it's really it just keeps the movie going and alive. I like the emotional beats of it. Yeah. I think we wanted to rank all the Spider-Man movies.
I can do it real quick. So, Amazing Spider-Man 1 is in last because it's I think it's the least entertaining for me. Performances are pretty good, but I don't really love the look of the film. I think it takes too long to get going. I don't really love the focus on Peter Parker's like actual parents in those movies. Not as interesting to me.
I think that's where they could have been interesting, but they just weren't.
Yeah, maybe. Not as interesting to me the way they executed it, though. Amazing Spider-Man 2 slightly above that. I think it's more entertaining. I think the visuals are stronger, and it is a little sillier, and I think I like that too. That fucking Gone, Gone, Gone by Philip Phillips needle drop is insane, and I think it's hilarious. Above that is probably Far From Home. I think it's fine. It's pretty good. It's just visually, I think it's kind of lackluster, and it's just my least favorite of Tom Holland's movies. It's not in New York, which kind of is a bummer. I get they're trying to do something different with it, but I like Mysterio. I think that's the best part of the movie, is the stuff with Mysterio. Too much Tony Stark stuff, though. I don't really love how he's tied into it, but I think I would have accepted that if it just wasn't so much. Like, it feels like it just orbits around Tony Stark in that movie, even after he's dead. It's all about like who's going to be the next Tony Stark, and like that being, and then like having him do the AC/DC needle drop in the jet and building his own suit at the end is just like, what are we doing? Like, I thought we were trying to grow beyond this, and I just don't feel like it quite hit it there yet. But it's a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
That illusion sequence is so good. And then above that, it's hard, but I'd probably go Homecoming. I love Homecoming. I think the Vulture twist is so cool. Michael Keaton is so good in that movie. I do love a lot of like the first bit of it where he's kind of helping his community, and I like the John Hughes energy of some of those, especially the first two John Watts movies. Like, I actually felt like that was a cool choice that gave them some personality. The fucking quirky like gym teachers and like stuff. I like the high school drama and the teen comedy aspects of those movies a lot more as time goes on, and I start to appreciate the influences.
Yeah.
And above that, I gotta go. Oh man, I gotta go No Way Home. It's super significant moment to see Toby and Andrew on the screen again. So here's the thing. I love every Spider-Man movie because they're so perfectly timed, as I explained at the beginning. Like, they've always kind of been right in my life when I want them and need them to be. The only ones that don't apply to that are Amazing Spider-Man, because I just watched those much later after they came out. I never saw them when they were coming out. So I was late, and so I just don't have as much of a connection with that Spider-Man. The other ones, though, I feel like I just love them all to varying degrees because they've always done their part. Like, today now, I feel like I have a solid like idea of what my favorites are, but as these were coming out, they did exactly what they needed to do.
Yeah.
You know? So Homecoming's really good. No Way Home is really good, too. Then above that, I would probably put, I guess, Brand New Day. I think it is right now my favorite of the Tom Holland ones, just because, again, this is the Spider-Man movie I needed right now, and here it is. So it's got some flaws. We just talked about it.
Yeah.
Above that, I would put the two Spider-Verse movies, but they're kind of interchangeable.
I'm not gonna rank those. Yeah.
Okay, but that's where they would be.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the Raimi trilogy is on top. So for me, it goes Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man 3. It's number 1. There you go.
All right. Mine's a bit different than yours.
Yeah?
Yeah. No, well, I think obviously for me, the Amazing Spider-Man 2 is at the bottom. Then above that, Amazing Spider-Man. They are like I saw them in theaters when they came out. Like I was slightly excited to see them. I wanted to see what a new Spider-Man movie would look like, and they just kind of they weren't it. They weren't it like pretty much at all. There's some unique stuff in there. I did like Andrew as Spider-Man, but I just think Mark Webb was a bad directing choice for those movies.
Surprisingly, his name is Webb.
I know. I think that's. I feel like that's kind of the reason why they picked him to direct the movies, because he has that. There could be like some kind of spiritual thing about it, like.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that was just a bad choice. And they tried to go in different directions, which I felt like if they did go further in certain directions, it would have been better. But they didn't stick the landing with any of it, so that's why those movies just kind of fail on what they were trying to do. Above that, probably Far From Home. Again, I don't really remember much from it. I remember liking it. I don't have much to say on it. I thought Mysterio was an interesting choice because we all know he's the bad guy, but then they were just really pushing for him to be like, oh, this is good. It's like, okay, when's the shoe gonna drop? When are we gonna be like, oh, he's the bad guy? Oh, okay, he's the bad guy. But yeah, I like the stuff where like they're traveling abroad and he's like with Mary Jane, MJ. Above Far From Home, I think is gonna be Brand New Day. I think that's like, again, I liked it. I thought it's good. It's just like once you kind of go beyond, it's the kind of the gilded like greatness of what you would want a Spider-Man movie to be. Just kind of the whole Marvel-ness of it kind of shines through, and it kind of loses a bit of its integrity there. Above that, I think I would say Spider-Man 3. I like that movie a lot. I think I have it like 4.5. So I mean, I like most of the Spider-Man movies. I think they're all great, but yeah, I think that one there, because I think I want to put No Way Home right above it. No Way Home.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah. No Way Home's great. I think it's kind of like that ultimate Spider-Man movie that every Spider-Man fan would ever. It's like the most fanfic Spider-Man movie out there, in like the best way possible. Sure, it's flawed in aspects that I've already like. That like it shares kind of with Brand New Day, but it kind of felt like a climax and a culmination of like all of the Spider-Man into one movie, that you really get like the true Spider-Man like movie for the fans, and it was fun and I liked it. Above that one would be, I think this is where it gets hard, the top 3 movies. I think, honestly, I'm going to tie Spider-Man 1 and Homecoming. Those two movies, I think, well, Spider-Man 1, just nostalgia factor, just all the way for me. I love that. I saw that movie so many times as a kid. It's great. It's really Sam Raimi doing his Raimi stuff through the lens of a superhero movie that like truly for the first time worked. not for the first time, but at least for Marvel. Right after doing a successful like X-Men, they really nailed like a singular superhero origin movie, and the special effects and the VFX really like made it work, and it was exciting and new for the time, and the transitioning and the editing, it's all just so great, and it's like a perfect kind of Spider-Man because he's poor, but he's also really funny, and in like that nerdy sense, like the Peter Parker really like comes out of Tobey Maguire, but then he also works as a good like muscular Spider-Man that kind of yeah. And then Homecoming was just like such a breath of fresh air for Spider-Man, like completely doing different stuff with Spider-Man that we haven't seen before. The whole Vulture twist was incredible. That's a movie where I'm like, oh, that is actually cool. That's surprising. I didn't actually see that coming. They're doing something different. They have like more of a connection to the villain than they ever thought they did. Mm-hmm. The fact that he's in high school still, and he's still having to deal with being a high schooler and Spider-Man, and trying to balance those two just didn't work out. And I did like that Iron Man was kind of there to kind of put him in his place in a way. Kind of be like, who are you without the suit? Like what? I truly believe that that's a great message for a Spider-Man movie. And then, obviously, Spider-Man 2 at the top for me, because it just is the best of both worlds on what Spider-Man is and could be. And the stakes are so much different. They're higher. He's just going through it, and I like him. Spider-Man just going through it, and I like the lessons that he has to learn about like truly understanding like who he is and what he wants in his life. Does he want to be Peter Parker, or does he want to be Spider-Man? Can he be both?
It's kind of what this movie's going at,
exactly,
just in an inverse way.
Yeah, but I think for me it works better because I feel like there's truly stakes at hand there, because when you lose your powers, you're like, oh no, what's he gonna do? Yeah. But he also, there's that great moment where like the house is burning and he tries to save someone as Peter Parker, not as Spider-Man, and it shows that he's still a good person. He's still like, he wants to help people out. He just needs to get his life together. And it has a great montage of him like raindrops are falling on my head. It's amazing. You get all the great stuff that you want from a Sam Raimi movie as well, with like the Doc Ock stuff and the scary, like the tentacles like doing that scary stuff in the surgery room. It just everything. It's just that movie just works so perfectly on every single level, and so that's why it's my favorite.
It is. I would say it is peak Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I like 3 better just for personal reasons, but the 2 is just undeniable.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
But yeah, that's my ranking.
Tell us yours.
Yeah, who's your favorite Spider-Man?
Who's your favorite Spider-Man? What's the best movie? Rank the whole movie. Leave a comment. Rank all of them. And I guess, what's a Spider-Man story that you would want to see told that you feel would make for a refreshing take?
Yeah.
What's a comic you want to see adapted? I think that's an interesting question, given that you kind of felt like there were not enough surprises in this movie.
Well, it doesn't even have to be like surprise, like, oh man, I haven't seen that before, but it's just something like just different, just something fresher.
A different angle, yeah. So let us know what you think about that.
Yeah.
And what you thought of this film. Do you have any other questions you want to ask?
I don't think so. What I guess, yeah. What's kind of going off what you were saying? What's like a superhero that we haven't seen yet that you want to see on the big screen, or that they haven't really focused on in the Marvel universe?
When are we getting another Hulk movie?
Yeah, a singular Hulk movie where they don't make him a bitch.
No, they should have Hulk No Way Home, where Edward Norton and Eric Bana come out of a portal.
That would be crazy.
Just 3 Hulks.
Just 3 Hulks fighting each other.
None of them can get along because they're all Hulks.
That would be.
By the way, Spider-Man No Way Home yielded one of the greatest ongoing bits I've ever come up with, which is if someone looks like someone else, but like vaguely, I just say, you look like you would come out of the portal in this guy's name, No Way Home.
Yeah.
It's like if someone has the same hairstyle, but they just like have a different face, I'm like, yeah, you would come out of the portal in Ethan No Way Home, or like whatever their name is. I think it's a perfect way to say you look like this guy, but not really.
Yeah. Like you're like
you're a variant.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like this person but drawn differently.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty funny. There's two guys at my work with like blonde hair and glasses, and I say that to them all the time. I'm like, I don't know which one would be the star of the movie and which one's coming out of the portal, but we'll see. Anyways, thanks so much for listening. Is there anything else you want to add?
I don't think so.
Yeah. Pretty good discussion. I like that there was some friction on this one.
Yeah, we're not going to agree on everything.
We
all the
usually
time.
just glaze the same movie. I think we see each other's points a lot.
Yeah.
I just think we don't always agree, which is the best way to go about it. But thank you so much for listening. Let us know what you thought of this movie. Rate the podcast, subscribe, like, follow along. And we'll see you guys next week. I've been Peyton.
Yeah, and I've been Adryon.
And we'll see you next time on the Apple Box.